comfortable and give our guests a chance to find out where we are.
We got lost.
I didn't ask you to confess.
We got lost.
Confess later on.
Pretty country.
This is really the second portion of a special meeting that started this morning, and the board will now, the chair will now entertain a motion to reconvene that special meeting. Motion is made by Mr. Wilson, second by Mr. Campbell, that we reconvene. All in favor? Unanimous. Those present, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We do have a quorum. Earlier this morning, and I'm going to stand, this special meeting that we have today that started this morning is a result of concerns expressed to the board, to the administration, about the closings that we have undertaken and some of the attendance zone changes that we've undertaken, and some other issues related to the desegregation order that the school district has entered into back in 1970 and modified during the course of the past few years. In most of our discussions, there are lots of concerns about the board's authority to do certain things, and given that desegregation order, what was the role of OCR in the decisions that the board was making? We've tried to explain that there's a sequence that we go through, that the board makes certain decisions, anything related to attendance zones, closings, that nature, we have to run by or pass through OCR for approval. So it was suggested at one meeting, well, why don't we invite OCR down and let them know some of the concerns, some of the frustrations that parents, community members have. And also we wanted to clarify as a board and as a district our role and our responsibilities. Today, we're very fortunate to have with us two representatives from the Office of Civil Rights from the Department of Ed. One is Mr. Howard Kellum, who is from the Washington office, and Ms. Martha Russo, who is from the Dallas office. If I'm not mistaken, am I right, Dallas? That's right. Okay, got it.
Could you repeat her name again?
Martha Russo, R-U-S-S-O. And Howard Kellum, K-E-L-L?
K-A-L-L.
K-A-L-L.
E-L.
I used to have John Kellum worship it. We wanted to just take some time to have an opportunity for you to express your concerns to them, but wanted first of all to clarify those roles. The one thing we're not doing is coming here this evening to lay blame on anybody for anything. Each of us has responsibilities. We have to assume responsibilities, the actions or the consequences of the responsibilities, the actions that we take. We should not try to blame someone else for something that's our responsibility. So we want to be very clear about, as a board, what our responsibilities are, and certain decisions we make rest with us. But there are some responsibilities that OCR has that they need to clarify what those are, and we don't want to mix the two. So without most of you know the responsibility of your local board, it's our job to make sure that this district provides quality education to every student. We have a fiscal responsibility. Our first responsibility is educating, but we have to do that in the context of resources given to us and the agreements that we have with federal and other state entities and laws. With this, rather than me taking up a lot of time, because we want to at least have as much time allocated for you to present your concerns this evening after Mr. Kellum gets a chance to explain and go over the role of OCR in the agreement that we have. We've provided each of you, and hopefully you've gotten one, a copy of the overview of OCR's role and mission. It's taken directly from their website. We have not doctored it or anything like that, and we've also put the website on, so if you want to go yourself to see it and some other things about them, you can do that, either if you have your laptops here or at home, you can do that. I want to digress a bit. There's also another document that I happen to have over there, and I'll talk about that at the end. And one has to do with junior achievement. We think we need your help in making sure that we get volunteers for a great program that's planned November 14th through 18th in our district. And it goes beyond that time, because we're trying to create a different mindset among our students. And this is one step in doing that. On the back of that document is something else, a personal project, or not a personal project, but dealing with early childhood education. So those are two little extra bits of information that you will receive for coming to see. At this time, I'm going to ask Mr. Kelly to come forward and share with them the overview of his role in relation to Beaufort County.
Good evening. I'm from Office for Civil Rights, from the DC Regional Office. We are a regional office that covers the District of Columbia, Virginia, North Carolina, and South Carolina. In our agency, we're a part of the United States Department of Education. We enforce several laws that prohibit discrimination based upon race, national origin, sex, disability, a number of other characteristics. We do this by getting complaints from students and parents who feel that one of their children or a student who feels that he or she has been discriminated against based on race, sex, whatever. We also do our own independent reviews. We may get information indicating the possibility of a problem in one of these areas in a school district or at a college or university, and then we can come in on our own initiative and do a review. We also provide technical assistance. We'll come down to schools or colleges and just give an overview of the laws and talk about certain specific issues that have come up under one of these laws that the school districts might be have an interest in finding out more about. The particular law that covers race discrimination is Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Title VI of the Civil Rights Act. And under Title VI, the Beaufort County School District signed a desegregation plan with the Office for Civil Rights, or what was then the Office for Civil Rights back in the 70s, to bring an end to the period in which students in the district were segregated by law in violation of Title VI. So in 1970, the district and the Office for Civil Rights reached agreement on a plan by which the district would desegregate its schools, ending a period where, as I said, segregation was required by law. Under this plan, the district has a continuing obligation to complete desegregation within the district and to eliminate, to the extent practicable, the racial identity of each school in the district. As part of this obligation, the district must make decisions affecting the assignment of students in a way that furthers desegregation, including as to any issues or decisions affecting school construction, school alteration, grade reorganization, or zone changes. And that's what one of the issues we're down here for now, and we're going to hear your concerns about, are issues affecting school closing and consolidation, as well as attendance changes. Moreover, the district must obtain OCR's approval before implementing any decisions about these issues. The district signed amendments to the desegregation plan in 2009 and 2010 that will ensure that these and future decisions are consistent with the district's obligations for as long as the plan remains in existence. The district and OCR have been working together very closely under these agreements for the last several years. We've had frank and productive meetings on a number of issues with Chairman Washington and all the board members, as well as with Dr. Truesdale and staff. They've helped us understand the district's interest in educational goals, and we have hopefully helped them understand the legal framework to achieve these goals. As a result, we have successfully resolved a number of issues. We're currently working with the board about its decisions to close or consolidate certain schools and to reassign other students. We are not requiring the board to take these steps, and we are not questioning the board's decision that there is a need to do so. Instead, our review is limited to determining if the decisions are consistent with the district's continuing obligation to complete desegregation within the district and again, as I said, eliminate to the extent practicable the racial identity of each school in the district. Those districts that maybe depart too much from the total enrollment, the racial composition of the total enrollment of the district, so that they might be considered racially identifiable. We will do this. We will review the board's decisions by looking at the effects of the decisions on the racial composition of the schools, both currently and as a result of the decisions, to see if they increase the racial identifiability of any of the schools or otherwise impede the complete desegregation of the schools. If the decisions will increase the racial identifiability of schools, we may also consider whether the schools would be overcrowded as a result of the decisions. We might consider the impact on student transportation times, whether there might be more integrative alternatives that could achieve the board's goals of dealing with capacity issues, of dealing with the financial decisions that would, if there were alternatives that would allow the board to achieve those goals, those purposes, while at the same time contributing to increasing the diversity in the schools. Again, we are not second-guessing the board's decisions to close schools, to consolidate, to make student assignment decisions. We are just reviewing those decisions for their impact on the racial composition of all the district schools. We were invited by the board tonight to come to this meeting, not to answer questions, but to listen with the board to any concerns you might have about the board's decisions to close or consolidate schools and to make other reassignment decisions in the context of the desegregation plan, the racial implications of these decisions. It is our understanding that the purpose of this meeting is not for any concerns that you might have about the desegregation plan generally or about other aspects of the district's operations, whether covered by the plan or not. And while many of you may have other concerns about the board's decisions regarding this closing consolidation of student assignment, how they might affect your child, whether there really is a need to close a particular school or move students in a particular grade from one school to another, again, our review is limited to the racial implications of the board's decisions, whether they're consistent with the district's obligations under the desegregation plan. If a particular decision doesn't change the racial composition of the schools involved, then while the board may well be interested in your concerns, and I'm sure it's heard them as it's made its decisions, the decision will not be reviewed by OCR because it has no consequences for the racial composition of the schools. With that, I want to thank you for coming tonight and for sharing your thoughts.